sun does shine every day. The sea is always blue. It's a particularly nice day for seeing the place. The university itself has been around for a while. We are a well-established traditional university, just approaching our 17th in 2 years' time. We are dual campus. I'll say a little bit more about this in a second, but this is our original campus. We have an additional campus as well, our Bay campus, which opened just in September 2015. We are a multidisciplinary university. We have a number of different subject areas, with a lot of interconnections between them. We're a research-led institution. Research, and I'll say a bit more about this later on, research is at the very heart of what Swansea University is all about. Pushing back the frontiers of knowledge, finding out new things, coming up with new interpretations of previously known things. That's what is at the very, very, the beating heart of a university like Swansea. That's part of its raison d'etre. Finding out new stuff, always pushing the boundaries of subjects, finding out new things. And we have excellence both in research, and I'll say a bit more about this later on, and teaching across the board, across the whole range of departments, across both campuses. In terms of our actual location, we're blessed. We have two seaside campuses. The Bay campus has waves literally lapping onto the campus. We have a road between us and the sea. And we have the city of Swansea with everything that goes with the city of about 250,000 people in terms of its facilities, etc., between the two campuses. And again, I'll say a few words about the location at the end. And I would just emphasise that this is about location as well as the academic side of things. When it comes to choosing universities, yes, you have to look at the course content and the facilities and what the teaching is like and what students say about the courses, etc. Obviously, that's core to the experience of being an undergraduate student. But please bear in mind, even the most scholarly students will only spend so many hours a week sitting in a lecture theatre or writing essays or researching information. For the rest of the time, during the 3 or 4 years as an undergraduate student, you're living in the place, whatever place that may be. And it's the nature of the place that is as much to do with how happy and successful students are as the actual course itself. That it's important to choose an environment, to choose a place that suits you as an individual person. So I will, at the end of this session, say a few words about Swansea as a place to be, because it is very much part of the equation. When students look back, years hence, looking back to their student days, they don't talk about necessarily the lectures that they had in particular lecture theatres. They talk about their experience and remember their experience of being in a particular city, in a particular town, etc. So it's very important, I feel, from my perspective, that it's about choosing the right course, absolutely, but also choosing the place that suits you as an individual. We're not a large institution by modern day standards. I mean, with around 16,000 students, we're still, puts us at the middle end of the range. By the nature of being campus university, it means that you are always meeting and re-meeting people that you know and recognise as you come out of lectures, as you go to get coffee, as you go to do this, as you go to do that. The nature of the campuses is such that you are always in contact with people and seeing people and meeting people. And anyway, and that's one of the things that I think that's very characteristic of a campus experience. We attract students obviously not just from around Britain, but from Europe and indeed obviously from throughout the world. And Swansea University has been undergoing a period of huge growth in popularity. Since 2012, the introduction of £9,000 a year tuition fees, since then we've seen an increase in our applications here of something in the range of 65% for our undergraduate courses. Only one other university in Britain has seen a higher increase in applications. And I hope that when going through talking about the university and what it does, I hope I'll be able to give you some idea as to why that and how that has come about, and why, as visitors here today, you're part of an increasing number of people that are showing an interest in the place. I'll just mention the Bay campus. You're here on the Singleton Campus. Down at the Bay is where, on the undergraduate side of things, we have business, management, economics, sport, and all our engineering. And anybody who wants to go and see the Bay campus, you're very welcome to do so. We have a shuttle bus running from this campus down there, starting at 10 o'clock this morning and finishing at 5 o'clock this afternoon, where you can pop down to have a look at the campus if you wish. Or indeed, if you come by car and you're parked here, if you're driving out down to the M4 motorway, just before junction 42, you'll encounter the Bay campus. You're very welcome to pop in, just have a look at the place too, if you wish to. As I say, I won't say too much about it because you're Singleton campus based, but it's a £500 million development And it's not just a place where teaching takes place, it's a place where research goes on, where companies are involved, and the university is working with companies to research new products, new methods, etc. Working together. So it's a combination of the university campus and a science park and a number of other things as well. It contains things like the 100-seat auditorium for the arts side of things. It's a complete campus in its own right. As I say, it's a really quite spectacular place, well worth looking at. As well as the developments down on the Bay campus, we have a constant rolling programme of development on this campus. So the bottom building on that side, for example, is our health informatics building, which just went up very recently. It's the university, for a small university, we are in a constant state of development. There are new things happening here all the time. It is an extraordinarily dynamic environment to both be a student in and indeed to be a member of staff in. Obviously, one of the first questions that, as a potential student, you're going to ask yourself is, well, if I come to Swansea University, if I were to come here, what's the currency of what I get? In terms of, well, is it actually any good? Is the teaching experience any good? Is the academic experience any good? Well, every year at the moment, all the final year students in every department, in every university in the land, are asked to fill out a thing called the National Student Satisfaction Survey, the NSS. It's a range of questions on this questionnaire, purely devoted to the academic side of things, asking about the teaching, the curriculum, methods of assessment, the way the feedback is given, and there's a question saying overall, are you satisfied with your course? So the latest one of these, the results came out last August. 91% of our students said they were satisfied with their course, which put us 8th equal of all universities in the UK, 8th equal in that ranking of student satisfaction. Indeed, we have 4 of our subjects have the top rating for satisfaction of any department doing that subject in the country, and we have a further 8 of the top 5. So students rate the teaching experience that they have here. They rate the academics, they rate the courses, facilities, etc. And it's not just the students that do that. If you look at organisations like uni.com, who do annual awards, they put us first for courses and lecturers. Again, a vote for students on that one. And we have outside sort of bodies like QS, which is like a worldwide university sort of assessment and ranking set up, who give us the maximum rating of 5 stars for our teaching, which puts us alongside the likes of Harvard and Yale and places like that. So the teaching here and the academic experience here is absolutely first class. One of the reasons why that's so is that the one we did mention earlier on about the importance of research. One of the reasons why the teaching here is so strong and why students rate the experience that they have is because the people that are doing the teaching are absolute experts in what they do. Because our lecturers are almost invariably also researchers, people at the very cutting edge of their subject. And it's quite possible when you're being taught in a final year sort of module that you can be hearing about things which people are hearing about for the first time because the person delivering the lecture is the person who's actually made that discovery or come up with that new interpretation, etc. So I keep mentioning research and saying it's the very heart of what a university like this is all about. It's a valid question, I guess, of, well, are we actually any good at that? So every 6 years or so, all universities' departments are assessed on the quality of research that goes on. The latest results of this came out in Christmas 2014, and in terms of looking at the average rating of the quality of research done at Swansea University, we ranked 24th equal in the UK, out of all the universities in the UK. Same ranking as the likes of Newcastle, Royal Holloway and Nottingham, and ranked above a number of very fine institutions, including a fair number of Russell Group institutions as well. In fact, a third of all the research areas that were looked at were assessed as having world-leading research taking place. That's the absolute maximum rating you can get for the quality of research in a university department. So the people that we employ are experts in what they do, and they relay that knowledge and that wisdom to our students, obviously through the courses and whatever. And students, again, in the latter stages of their undergraduate courses, can sometimes actually be involved in research that academics are actually engaged in. So it is a central plank of what we're all about. And moving away from the academic side of things, just to, as I said at the start, that environment I think is very important as well as purely academic matters. Every year, Lloyds Bank do a survey where they look at the quality of student life in cities around the UK They look at cities across a whole range of criteria. So they look at accommodation, they look at things like safety, they look at crime rates, they look at accommodation costs, they look at things like student satisfaction. This is an annual survey, and again on the latest one of this, of all the university cities in the UK, Swansea is rated 15th, again in the company of some very, very fine institutions and some really great university cities. So Swansea is up there with in the top range of institutions on the academic front, and then I hope when you talk to students, it will be endorsed that it's up there in terms of the experience that we have. We are an international sort of outreach university in that, yes, students come here to study, but we send students around the world. And this map just gives you a snapshot of some of the places that we send students to do part of their course or to go on to get some more work experience abroad whilst they're a student here. We are completely international in outlook. Why do we do this? Well, we see it as a good in its own right. That the students want the opportunity to go to different cultures, go to different places, sample life in different environments. We think that's a good thing. But also, it's a message that we're getting very, very clearly from employers that they value the difference that it makes when a student is taken out of their sort of everyday student experience, where they have to go somewhere a bit different and live in a slightly different sort of lifestyle, etc. And employers have said to us very clearly the difference that makes to a student is something that they particularly value. We're at a stage here now where effectively, whatever you come to study, pretty well every student that comes to Swansea University has the opportunity, if they wish to, it's not always compulsory, it is on some courses, but every student, if they wish to, has the opportunity to spend some time away from Swansea. To find out about the whole plethora of opportunities that are available on this front, we have a talk about studying abroad at 11:30, and again this afternoon at 1 o'clock in the Faraday Lecture Theatre, which is in the building just opposite this theatre. And we also have advice and information in our information fair, where we have a number of our services as well as our academic departments, and they're up on the first floor of Fulton House, the building you see in the very centre of the campus. I mentioned about the fact that employers tell us they value the difference students going into a different environment makes. The university puts a huge amount of time and effort and resource into helping students prepare for what comes after Swansea, whether it be further study, whether it be going into the world of work or whatever. So we have an organisation called the Swansea Employability Academy, who put on a range of events and training and opportunities. We provide work placements, we provide internships, we provide schemes where students can assess themselves in terms of their readiness for the world of work and develop the skills that need developing, and that gets certificated. The end result of this is in the latest sort of records of students, of employability, of looking at what students are doing 6 months after they've left university. In the latest set of employability stats, 81.9% of our students were not only working, but they were in graduate employment. The figure for those who are actually doing something is well over 90%, but 81.9% are actually in graduate employment, doing something that actually required you to have a degree, qualification or equivalent in the first place. And again, looking at how that stands up against other universities, that puts us in the top 15 again of all universities in the UK for graduate employability. Again, up there and indeed ahead of a number of very, very well-known, recognised, including a number of Russell Group universities. Obviously, one of the questions that people ask themselves a lot and ask us a lot is that, well, if I come to Swansea University, and I do a degree from Swansea University, how does that prepare me, not only work, but how does that prepare me for the world after university, but also how is that seen by the wider world? And from our graduate employability statistics, you can see that a Swansea degree is one that actually carries you a long way and is recognised by the big graduate employers, both UK and beyond that as well. We are a dual campus university, and so we have a range of facilities that students are able to take advantage of as a result of that. So just a quick summary of some of them. We have libraries on both sites, we have a bookshop here, we've got banks, several banks on this site. We have an ATM machine down on the bakehouse as well. We have a travel shop. We have this theatre, which has a constant range of music and films and dance and drama taking place pretty well day by day. You can pick up a leaflet or a booklet outside, in fact, which shows you everything that's happening over the next 3 or 4 months here. There's barely a day or a night goes by when there isn't something happening on this stage. And we also, in addition now, since the opening of the bakehouse, we have a new 800-seat auditorium down there in the Great Hall, which is the building touched on the bottom half of that slide there. We have an Egyptology museum here, which is free. You're very welcome to visit whilst you're here. And obviously we have a range of sports facilities. We have a sports hall down at the bay. We have our principal sports facilities up here, and I'll say a little bit more about sport in a second on this campus. But I mean, by virtue of being a campus university with 2 campuses, we have a whole host of facilities, and students, as being a student, irrespective of which campus your department is based on, the student life of a Swansea student will involve moving between the 2 campuses and experiencing the facilities and the social events, etc., that take place across them both. A very quick word about money, because there is a finance talk later on being given here in 10:30. Just to say very briefly, we give money to students. If a student comes here where family income is below £30,000 a year, we will give that student some money, a maximum of £3,000. And if family income is just around about the 30,000 mark, that goes down to £1,000. But we give all students whose family income is in that band, we give them some money. Also, we give students money on the basis of academic performance. If a student comes here with 3 grade A's or better, we will give that student a £3,000 excellence scholarship. If they come here with 2 A's and a B, then we'll give them a £2,000 merit scholarship. And we also have scholarships available for people who are particularly adept at sport, etc. So more information on that in the finance talk, and indeed in the sports talk, which will be available later in the morning. We have a range of accommodation both on this campus and indeed on the bay. And so irrespective of where your subject is based, you are entirely free to live, if you want to live on a campus, you're entirely free to live on whichever campus you wish to, choosing the range of accommodation and the cost of accommodation and the facilities that you actually want. So we have halls of residence here, and as part of the open day, you're very welcome to go and visit. We have a little marquee outside Pen 9 Hall, and you'll be able to be taken on tours to look at the facilities here. We have accommodation on the bay campuses, then we have a shuttle bus that will take you down to the bay if you want to go and have a look at that. We have advisors on hand to talk about the whole range of accommodation. We also have a student village, which is 1.5 miles away from here. Has its own bus service. I can tell you it's exactly a 28-minute walk, because I lived there myself for 2 years when I was a lad. Obviously no student would dream of walking anywhere these days. So they have their own bus service that runs from the village to here, into town, and indeed out onto the bay. And we have a cinema tent outside Fulton House, and there's a full range of videos showing the range of accommodation that's available and the facilities that go with each of the types of accommodation that we offer. In terms of the accommodation compared to other universities, ours is amongst some of the most reasonably priced accommodation that we're going to find pretty well anywhere in the UK system. And when it comes to private sector accommodation, where students often, having been in university accommodation, say for their first year, and move out into the private sector, according to that Lloyd's Student Experience Survey, we actually have the lowest average private sector accommodation costs of any sort of major university city in the land. I mentioned sport, and there's a special sport talk later on, but just to say, just a few minutes walk from this campus, we have our principal sports centre, which has an Olympic pool, which has a 25-metre training pool, which has a large gym and all courts. If you're particularly interested in sport, we're doing walking tours from the reception area on campus today, because it's only a few minutes walk away, which will take you over to look at the sports facilities if you want to go and have a look at those. But they're well worth a look at, because we've got a really, really good setup over there. And there are talks specifically about sport at midday and at 1:30 in the Faraday Lecture Theatre, which is on the other side of this campus. We're very lucky with our student union. They run a very professional set of services. They run well over 100 clubs and societies. They put on social events. They run newspapers. They run a radio station. They run their own TV station. And the students that come here are able to take advantage of having a really, really professionally organised and run student union. We have a talk about student life specifically again as part of the day, both at 11 o'clock and at 1 o'clock, and that will be in here, if you'd like to use that. And also the student union has a stand in our information fair in Fulton House, where you can get further information about all the clubs and societies and things like that. We have an award-winning student services set up, where we have all of our services to do with disability and money and whatever, all under one roof effectively, with a one-stop shop. And we have a student services marquee on this campus again, that you're very welcome to pop into if you'd like to get information about any issues to do with disability, to do with money, or anything of that nature. If you'd like to get more information about what's provided for students, please go and have a chat with them. And I said at the start that I'd finish by saying a quick word about place, because in my experience of working, both doing this sort of work for nearly 25 years and having worked as a careers advisor, helping people go to university for 10 years before that, I've become very, very conscious of the fact that when people make the wrong choice about going to university or whatever, very, very rarely do people ever leave early because they can't do the course. That's really, really unusual. Much more usual is that if someone is unhappy with where they are, it tends to be because they hadn't thought about what it would be actually like to live in that particular place when they made their original choice. I think we are incredibly lucky. I mean, I'm biased. I mean, I'm head of recruitment for start. But I was a student here myself when I was 18, and I have been away for a bit in the meantime, and then I've come back. I looked at here as a student, and I've spent the last 25 years trying to persuade other people that they would love being a student here. But I do genuinely feel that we are incredibly lucky with not just our location, but with the nature of the place. Swansea itself, second biggest city in Wales. There's a slightly bigger one down the road. Irrelevant. We've got Premiership football, they haven't, enough said. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to say that a few months ago, but thankfully I can still use that line. You'll never go hungry or thirsty in Swansea. There's that many places to eat and drink and whatever. It is the most incredibly friendly place. I am not a local, as you can tell from my accent, and so I came here at the age of 18. I couldn't get over how friendly this place is. You can't go to buy a newspaper in a shop, you can't queue for a bus without people striking up a conversation. And it is a really, really good, and I hope that those of you who have come from outside of the area that you'll feel that when you leave today. But Swansea is an amazingly friendly place, I feel, I know, to live and work in. We have our range of museums. We have the National Museum, the National Maritime Museum, an Industrial Museum. We have our own Swansea Museum. We have a range of theatres in Swansea itself that students can take advantage of, as well as the facilities here. We have a beautiful waterfront development, which was the former sort of Docklands area that's been turned into a marina. Lovely place to stroll around, lots of cafes, and it's very, very sort of pleasant down there. We have very close links with, I mentioned about the Premier League, with Swansea City, and indeed with the Ospreys for the rugby. And indeed students can go, get tickets to go and see things like going to see Swansea play. You can get tickets at a very reasonable price. And it's going to be possible to see top-class rugby at very low cost as well in the very near future. We, as well as having our main sports facilities between here and the city centre, on the beach, there's a centre called the 360 Centre, which does water sports and beach sports, beach sort of volleyball and things like that, which students can take advantage of. So, and then you've got the city of 250,000 people with all the clubs and the pubs and the shops that you expect to a place that size. If you're a city person, you go out the gates here, turn left, you've got the city. If you're not so much of a city person, you go out the gates, turn right. First of all, you've got the village of Mumbles, which is having a triathlon, so I probably wouldn't recommend going down there today, perhaps, but it's a brilliant place for ice cream and having a cup of coffee and sitting by the waterside. It's very, very attractive. You've got lovely views looking all around Swansea Bay. And then beyond that, you have this. You've got the Gower Peninsula. 20 miles of cliffs and beaches, and it really does look like that. When it's not raining. It is a beautiful, beautiful area where you can wander down, you can have beaches to yourself because not all of them have road access. And as a student, you've got this right on your doorstep. This is why we get more than our fair share of surfers coming to Swansea. This is why we get more than our fair share of students who like surfers coming to Swansea. But there's a very outdoorsy vibe about the place. Obviously, I'm biased. I was here as a student, I loved it. I'm here a good number of years later, and I still love it. And I know that the students, we can see this from the student satisfaction surveys and from everything that students say when they leave here, that they love it too. But The idea today is for you as potential applicants to decide for yourself, is this the sort of place that you could see yourself being happy in and being successful in and being settled in? Is it the sort of place that caters for what you're looking for academically? Is it the sort of place that's right for you as an individual person in terms of the sort of environment that will make you happy? That's the idea of today, and I hope you get all the information that you want. I have to finish now because I've got another talk straight away, but just to say I will be around the reception area and wandering around the campus all during the day. Please don't hesitate to come up and ask some questions at any time you like. Thanks very much for listening. Thank you. Could I ask, please, it's a bit of a